Hello, wrestling fans, and thank you for joining us once again as we are reliving the extreme. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron
Hello.
and ECW's own Chad Austin.
Hey, happy belated Martin Luther King birthday day.
Yeah, an inauguration and all kind of stuff going on this week. But we are flashing back to 1993 on this week's edition of Reliving the Extreme, where we are taking a look week over week, as you know, at the history of ECW from beginning till it dies. And this week's episode.
Nate,
Oh,
let
go
me
ahead,
ask
Chad.
you, do you
Yeah.
do you tell the listeners that you were going to skip over a couple of weeks of shows because they were redundant? Did you tell anybody that wants to follow along on the webpage or anything?
No, I didn't give them a heads up on the webpage. I suffered through them, so you guys didn't have to. But yeah, folks, we skipped a couple of weeks. Actually, I probably will tell them since this won't be airing till Saturday. But we skipped a couple of weeks, and the reason being the show from August 3rd and August 10th of 93 were both literally every match on the show were matches we've seen before. And other than that, it was just hyping up the next TV taping, which we are going to be starting to see stuff from. And some of the stars, they hype some of the stars that are going to be at the taping that haven't been before, like Sensational Sherry, stars from the Wing promotion, et cetera, et cetera. And then they also ran down as they were adding matches to the Ultra Clash event. But no matches or segments or promos or anything of any significance that we have not already seen. And since we've already had to watch it once, we don't want to have to watch it again.
Basically, what you're saying is where we have been like, good God, what's the word? I would say etching towards, like, skidding towards.
Yes.
It's all recap shows until they have a show where they could get, new content, right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. Like they showed the JT Smith Dark Patriot match with JT off the thing. They showed some of the crappy tag team matches that didn't need to be there, et cetera, et cetera. But
so
now...
basically, you're just telling those assholes if they want to know what happened on the last two
months.
The last two episodes we skipped, just go back and listen to the beginning of the podcast and catch up.
That's right. Because now we are catching up, and we are as I watch this show, you see, I saw I don't want to call them drastic changes, but most definitely changes between from the last taping to this taping.
Cool. I'd be interested to hear these because I'm not sure that I saw them changes.
I felt the show to me, how do I want to put it? The show to me did not seem as plotting as I watched it. As I watched it, I didn't feel like, Jesus Christ, is this going to be over soon? Like I also didn't have as much comedy. I didn't have as much to laugh at in this show.
I don't know. I'm still waiting to figure out like what exactly your definition of this is, which is curious to me. No, this is not an insult or anything.
Oh, I know.
I mean, like I didn't see anything. I knew they were starting to run newer footage, but they still had to do with the stock stuff from the studio with Eddie, and all that stuff. So I'm anxious to hear like what you thought was actually kind of so good. About it, because there was a lot of good. Don't get me wrong.
Aaron,
I just thought the show clipped along better. Like it didn't feel plotting, like Nate said. It felt like we're gonna like it hit a lot more quicker than what the other shows did.
Well, don't they call that pretty much like when you have a 60-minute show, it's an easy watch.
Yeah,
and we haven't said that a whole entire lot.
No.
With ECW. Once. Not even since we started doing the podcast. This is not once.
And it's not that I haven't had fun watching it. It's okay. It hasn't been necessarily fun watching it. It's been fun talking to you guys about it, and the silliness and the wackiness and all that. And so we start off this week's show. It's August 17th, 1993, with the brackets for the Tag Team Championship Tournament. Which here's my first shining light. That goddamn Super Destroyers Suicide Blondes feud is finally over. There you go. Yeah. There's a plus right there.
Wow. I don't know. I couldn't believe they even came up with enough tag teams. I counted how many people it was, and I was like, what the fuck? They don't even have that many people working there. What was it like? 16?
I think it's an 18. I think it's an 8-team tournament. One of the teams is Sandman and Sal Balomo, so that's fun.
That's fucking. That is a gem right there. Do you realize how great?
Imagine these two in the Olive Garden.
Do you realize how great of a tag team that would have been if it would have came along later? Like after, I don't know why Sal left. I don't know why. But if Sal would have stuck around and Sandman would have had Sal Balomo as like his woman,
like lighting his cigarettes.
Go get me another beer, Sal.
Yeah. But it's for the kids. Oh my God, that would be the best thing ever.
Aaron, I know you have sometimes a little more detailed notes than I do on these shows. You didn't write down the brackets, did you? Because I didn't.
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay.
I just know that Jay Sully was in the stock room of a Radio Shack when he was open.
Running like down his own vacation.
Like running down the tournament, and I didn't think that Sully could be worse, but he's worse in the back room of the Radio Shack than he is in front of the ring in front of a live crowd. Like he's worse.
Yeah,
he's more awkward.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Aaron, you're right. And tell me if I'm wrong. But him sitting there with his feet up on the chair.
Yeah, weird. He looked like he'd been at the casual mail store from the Mallrats movie.
Yeah, it's who are you? Who are you that you're allowed? You're not even Brickhouse Brown. For Christ's sake, you can't just put your feet up on the chair and host the fucking show.
Sully starts off the show again, running down the tag brackets. Then he gives us the matches that are announced so far for Ultra Clash, which are, and this is going to change, I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves me, Abdullah the Butcher and Eddie Gilbert against Stan Hansen and Terry Funk. I think Eddie winds up getting replaced by Kevin Sullivan. I have not looked ahead to see, but if I remember correctly, I believe that winds up happening. The Dark Patriot against JT Smith. And a scaffold match. The Battle of the Sexes Battle Royal, which will have two ends of the wrestling spectrum in it. It's going to have Hunter Q. Robbins and Sensational Sherry in it. So there you go. Two ends of the wrestling spectrum there. Tony Stetson versus Tommy Cairo. Shane Douglas against the Sandman. The Headhunters against Miguelito Perez.
Cairo and Sandman, that feud, they couldn't end it if they wanted to. Like they could actually shake hands at a public library parking lot and walk away and go home and not have any grudges. But somehow somebody go, isn't the Sandman still mad at Tommy Cairo? Like it goes on. It's like Morocco and like fucking Santana or something.
Yeah. And Nate, let me ask this: you watched the recap shows. Did they mention Shane on the recap shows?
They did. They mentioned he was that the fabulous Shane Douglas was going to be at the TV taping, and they also mentioned that he was the latest member of the Dangerous Alliance, but they did not show any segments with him joining the Dangerous Alliance.
That was one of my notes. Is where the fuck did Shane Douglas pop up at? Like it was all of a sudden he's in the Dangerous Alliance. It's like what the fuck? We haven't even seen him. That was weird.
So no,
what do you mean? What? Where did Shane Douglas pop up? Where?
He wasn't on any of the shows, and then just all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, Shane Douglas is going to wrestle Sandman."
Yeah, he's wrestling Sandman at Ultra Clash. And they mentioned that he's the newest member of the Dangerous Alliance, but they've shown no segments yet or anything with him joining said Dangerous Alliance.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't have anything in my notes at all about Shane Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even see him on here. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was because it was that quick.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that might be what it is. He signed to start at this taping, so they had no footage of him before this taping, I guess. Would be the only thing I could think of. And then anything else on that, guys? There really isn't anything to talk about.
I mean, are we anywhere near where Eddie Gilbert was in the studio where he was talking about it, where he was wearing his Guess jeans?
That's the next segment.
And then he walks outside. You see a lease sign.
Yeah, that I have in my notes. Oh God, ECW's already up for lease.
Yeah. Like, are we getting near that? So that's where Shane Douglas was. Like right before that. Like wow, that sounds like something Shane Douglas should be looking forward to. I'm coming into this company that's already up for lease. That's unbelievable.
But yeah, we're there, and Eddie Gilbert. Talking about that segment, Eddie Gilbert, he shows up, and he's bitching because they started the show without him, and Jay Sully's mad because Eddie's there, and Eddie sits down, and he goes, "I'm gonna apologize to you, Jay Sully, because last week." And I'm going to apologize to your wife because last week I said there was a scuzz bag waiting outside the arena for you. And Jay Sully looks at him and goes, "Thank you, Eddie Gilbert." Like, who has ever had taken somebody's apology and used their entire name? Like, he looks right at him and he's like, "I'm sorry that they said that I said there was a scuzz bag out there waiting for you." And he goes, "Thank you, Eddie Gilbert." Like, what the
fuck? I have a million of them fucking things. like not the same examples that you presented, but just why are you saying this? Like there's no reason for you to be presenting me with all this information.
Like in WCW when Bret Hart was the only guy that called Goldberg Bill Goldberg.
So then Eddie says, "There wasn't a scuzz bag out there waiting for you. There were 3 scuzz bags." Actually,
well, I mean, the 1993 me would have popped for that. Holy mackerel! I mean, I would have been, I don't know, fucking 23. Yo, yeah. Way to tell him, Eddie.
Way to give it to that Sully, that son of a bitch.
You told him.
I thought it was funny.
And then Eddie proceeds to make a bet with Jay Sully that he can go out and walk out onto the street and find the first person he sees would be the better host than Jay.
This is what I knew. What I knew with Pop Chad.
I knew Chad would be chopping at the bit for this. Yeah.
See, I didn't know what was going to happen, but you know what I thought in my mind? I was like, Jesus Christ, I hope Eddie doesn't walk outside and find Stevie Wonderful panhandling.
Could you imagine if you would have found Stevie Wonderful
like
walking down the sidewalk?
And what turns out that big trench coat he's been wearing all this time has watches in it.
He would have had like a plastic bag with like a half a quart of milk in it. And a couple of tasty cakes. He would have just walking down the street, and Eddie Gilbert would never just come on.
Never mind.
Great.
Back in.
But we got, as we were getting ready to talk about,
it was not Stevie Wonderful.
No, it wasn't.
Go ahead, Aaron.
No, let Chad talk about it. This is his guy. Who's he find, Chad?
I can't. I'm not going to introduce this. This is way beyond me. Hey, this is your guys' show. You introduce Mr. Gillum.
Well, he finds Mr. John Gillum out on the street, walking down the street in his windbreaker and his hat, and just he's drinking something. It's probably booze, and he brings him inside, and it's the only time Jay Sully ever popped me, because he brings the guy inside, and Jay Sully goes, "Oh Christ, he actually found somebody!" Like that actually made me laugh. Like Sully's sitting there, he's like, "Jesus, he actually found somebody."
Didn't it seem like Eddie had to leave his mom's basement to go out to find them? Because you see him walk out that door, and it's like, that's like a basement door. You know? It's like you're at home and your mom's got you had enough money to buy some production equipment that you can make TV at, and you're walking out and you walk outside, you find John Gillum. Like, just what are the chances of that? I love John Gillum. Every John Gillum story I have, every one of them is the best, and Eddie was the best for putting John Gillum into those stories, because he knew John didn't care. He wasn't going to be offended.
So
he makes Gillum attempt to read the card of the show. And
and I want to tell you guys real quick. My wife, Erin, knows my wife is not a gigantic. She watches wrestling's on. That's the way it is for her. I watch a lot of wrestling. Wrestling's on. So I'm watching this show, and she's sitting there on the couch. And when Gillum starts talking, my wife looks at the TV. She looks up from her phone. She looks at the TV, and she goes, "What's this guy's fucking story?"
John Gillum.
Yeah. So there you go. A little non-wrestling fan reaction to that.
Have you ever seen the John Gillum Continental angle?
I have not. You have told me about it, but I have never actually seen it myself.
That's one of the greatest. Like, it's almost magical how they stole money from a whole entire town, for a match that wasn't going to happen with a guy that shouldn't have been in it to begin with. Like, it's amazing that they sold out the fucking, I don't know what it was in Birmingham or whatever. They sold the place out for John Gillum against Austin Idol. No, against I don't remember who it was, but Austin Idol was the guy that gave him his outfit to wear in the match, and it sold out without even them knowing who the people were in the main event. It was so and so's Mr. R, Oh my God, John Gillum, unbelievable. One of my favorite angles, and I'm so glad that Eddie Gilbert used him, whenever he needed to, like, get someplace started.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always a great start. You start somewhere simple,
Right.
Start with a simple thing and then build to that. And I've recently, I'm sorry for going off the rails.
No.
But I've been listening to, like, a lot of things about what would have happened if stuff didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, God damn, there's a lot of things that would be different now. What if Taker would have never met Brody?
Right.
Fuck, and yeah, there's just a lot of things that I'm watching now, and I'm looking at everything in a different light. Like, wow. But I'm sorry for taking everything off.
No, just that progression. I think that sometimes when we're watching this show, these shows, what would have happened if Eddie had not departed ECW? How different would things have been? Would it have succeeded like it did, et cetera, et cetera? So yeah, that's definitely always in the back of your mind. Anything else on this segment?
And this was the
Gillum segment. That's what we're going to call it. The Gillum seg.
Yeah. I mean, John Gillum, dude, I'm telling you, you have to watch the fucking, the Continental John Gillum segment. That's one of the best things you're ever going to see. when he brings him out, and he's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "I'm John Gillum," and he's like, "Your name is John Gillum." Yeah, it's one of my favorite angles ever, because if you do your homework, and this is like I'm not gonna knock any of you two, Nate or Aaron, because I'm sure you guys are very smart guys, but watch what that angle did as far as business, and look at how much it cost.
Right, well, yeah, for sure.
It cost nothing. Eddie was already getting salary, and he knew how to book a friend of his, John Gillum. And it was awesome. And the people went banana. They went banana when John Gillum came out for the spot. So, yeah, I mean, I dare you and challenge you to go back and watch that angle.
We have a Koloff promo next from Ivan and our friend Vlad.
These Koloffs never die, do
they? Talking about their match coming up with the Headhunters. These two big fat guys from Puerto Rico, or actually they're representing Wing, the Japanese promotion here, and they are joined by, as I will call him, El Hijo de Gorilla Monsoon, Mr. Victor Quinones.
Good, Aaron.
Well, the match starts off with the Headhunters. They attack, and it's just a Koloff and the Headhunters just stumbling around and brawling with each other. And
these two guys couldn't be any more fucking useless in the ring.
That's
other than the fact that at some point they go to the top rope, miss a fucking moonsault. That other than that, they couldn't be any more fucking useless. They were terrible. Watch their forearms. Mm-hmm. Like they run out of gas, I don't know, 30 seconds, 40 seconds into anything that happens. It was borderline like if it wasn't so much going on, it'd be like, oh, this is brutal. Like,
Yeah, it's like if Vladimir is one of the generals in the ring,
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're looking at Vladimir for fucking information on where the match is going,
let's pick this up a little bit. Get some psychology.
You're watching this going, Vlad ain't bad. Yeah. Compared to these,
I wrote the Headhunters. They were just fucking slobs. Like they were just slobs, and I never got a chance to get a picture with them. Like at the hotel where I got a picture with Victor and Miguel, I never got a picture with them, but I did get to talk to them, and I'm just like, you guys are fucking slobs. You know what I mean? If you would just lose 240, 50, 60 pounds, you guys might have a future in the United States, But
instead we're treated to the waddling duo of these guys. Let me see. The 96 Royal Rumble, I'm just thinking of how old I would have been. I was probably 15 or 16 when the 1996 Royal Rumble happened. And these two doofuses were in the 96 Royal Rumble. If you remember, they called them the squat team. And I remember even that when the WWF had these guys in the Royal Rumble in 96, me at 16 years old watching them going, man, these guys are bad, really bad.
They're not really, I mean, there was nothing good about them other than the fact that they were just two big fat guys that looked alike.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was their mystique. They were just two big fat guys that weighed 430 pounds that looked alike. Other than that, they didn't have nothing, and they could do moonsaults. But you had to get them. You had to get them to the spot,
The Black McGuire twins.
They were the Puerto Rican McGuire twins.
You're not far off.
I was saying they were the Puerto Rican McGuire twins.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, I don't even know what nationality they were.
I think they were Puerto Rican or Dominican.
They
something like that.
they probably would have had to have been correct. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
because if they were with Victor and they didn't speak English, and I don't even know what they spoke because they didn't say anything. They just looked at Victor like, "Wow, you answer."
All right. Well, Tweedledee and Tweedledum have their match with the Koloffs here, and it ends in a double disqualification, and then
A fucking stupid ass coin toss.
Question mark. I have question mark coin toss.
Fucking stupid.
Think of all the great battles in wrestling history settled by a coin toss.
Yeah, of course. Fucking Puerto Rican McGuire twins were like, I hope it's a chocolate coin.
That's how the Super Bowl is going to end up this year.
And the Koloffs win the coin toss.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean,
and advance in the ECW.
And the crowd goes mild.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. The crowd didn't even go mild. They didn't do nothing. There was absolutely nothing because nobody knew what was going on. It just ended. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. And although I do give Ivan a little bit of respect because I did see him like standing up for himself out on the floor when they were brawling on the floor.
Yeah, he cracked one of them fuckers with the chair pretty good.
Yeah, like he was slugging it out on the floor. Like he was like, "Motherfucker, you ain't going to just take me for advantage."
Yeah. Like fucking Della Reese looking bitch. You ain't gonna.
Well, up next we get Todd Gordon in the ring conducting an interview with the ECW champion Don Morocco, who says, and I quote, he's talking about people that are walking around the ECW locker room that could be potential challengers of his. And he says, and at this taping, I've been walking around and there's a lot of slanty-eyed guys back there, apparently alluding to the Japanese fellows that have joined.
His exact words are, there's a bunch of slant-eyed, black-haired people back there, and they can't take me on, brother. Todd Gordon's like, Jesus Christ.
It made it through standards and practices. I mean,
it made it through Stevie Wonderful. Yeah.
I mean, are you trying to blame somebody? Because somebody saw it and somebody says it's okay.
It's all right.
Compared to that last match, it's not as offensive. It's okay.
Well, if we find out that next week Morocco is going to defend his title against Tito Santana, and as one of the world's biggest Tito Santana marks, I like this. I don't care if Tito's past his prime; doesn't matter to me. I'm a big Tito mark.
I don't even know when Tito's prime happened. I mean, have you seen him like recently?
Probably. I haven't seen him do anything in at least a decade. But I mean,
I'm sorry. Maybe I take that back because I'm thinking like every time I see pictures of Tito, I'm like, this guy doesn't age.
Right? Yeah, he's like Dick Clark.
Like, wow.
Dick Clark's dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, when he was alive, God damn it.
But Tito doesn't age in the sense that like he's not going bald.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if he colors his hair, but his hair is natural looking, and he's got that little still like you don't have like wrinkles or anything.
Right.
So he really looks exceptional for how old he is and how old is he got to be? He's got to be what?
He's got to be at least 60? In his 60s. Yeah.
63,
I was going to say.
62, something around there.
Yeah.
And he looked great. And when I saw that promo, I just jumped out of my seat and was like, oh my God. Like we're almost going back to the Cabrini College days. They're bringing in fucking Tito Santana.
Maybe that's where they found him because I heard he was a teacher. Like maybe he was teaching at Cabrini College and they were like, hey, Tito.
Oh, Okay, Todd, I'll give you a shot. Go work a
It's
shot. for
summer
you.
break, buddy.
I've never heard a bad thing about Tito. Yeah,
but
that was a
now,
good deal, and I'm not even sure he was even there.
I don't know. Yeah, that might have been recorded somewhere else. Well, maybe not, because he is. If he's booked or if he's advertised to wrestle Morocco next week, I assume that was at the same taping. I don't know. We'll find
but
out.
it was still that fucking backdrop that they
Yeah.
all the co-op.
The New York knockout.
Yeah, the New York knockout backdrop.
I think they did like guys that had died 5 or 6 years prior. Like they did the same kind of promos. Like Paul must have had a big thing of stock footage that was in front of that backdrop, where where he's just, I had everyone.
I got a promo from everybody.
I got a promo from everybody, and I paid none of it.
Yeah, I think I saw Mad Dog Vachon do one.
He wanted to charge me an arm and a foot, but I paid him nothing.
An arm and a fake leg.
Don Morocco and the Metal Maniac is the match that we get next. And I know, Chad, you said you had some thoughts about this encounter.
I'm gonna reserve judgment on this. I really do like Jeff, and I like Jeff a lot. He is a good friend of mine, but Jesus fucking Christ. Them forearms, they wouldn't crack an egg. They wouldn't break wind. I mean, they were the worst things that I ever seen. And the worst is, the gimmick is, or everybody thinks wrestling's fake. When they throw a punch, they always stomp their feet.
Mm-hmm.
Because they think that's how you do it. You throw a punch like your feet. His foot stomp was worse than the fucking was louder than the hit. Like it wouldn't be like he would throw the forearm; it would be the foot stomp, and it's like it's terrible. It's terrible, and that match was just unbelievable. Morocco. Metal Maniac is a good friend of Snookus, or was a good friend of Snookus. So normally they were a package deal. So when you book Snooker, you book Metal Maniac as well. And Morocco, being associated with Snooker, he probably picked him to be the guy. But god damn, it didn't. Well, first off, Morocco was wrestling a guy who didn't know how to fucking do anything. So, I would say, imagine if I could have worked Morocco. Because I would have bumped like a ping pong ball around for him. I would have jumped all over the place. The Metal Maniac, which is the guy who was there to get punched in the head one time and fall down for 5 minutes until the guy picks you up. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Like a sack of potatoes. He was a sack of potatoes.
Yeah. I almost wish I could have been that guy that was the guy that the Metal Maniac was that night.
With their build, it looked like they both had like the same build. It looked like Don Morocco was beating up his son. His punk rocker son. It was fucking trash.
His son Ron.
Yeah. Ron Morocco.
I don't know about all that, but
yeah, this fucking thing sucked.
Okay. Now moving on, they have a match that they break into the middle of it, but we'll get into that. We have another tag team tournament match.
It's the match that fucking Hunter Q. Robinson is going to put together this dream tag team that's going to take over the world. Tony Stetson and Sir Richard Michaels versus Wildman Sal and the Surfing Bird Sandman. This is fucking garbage too. Jesus Christ.
I thought you said you liked this show, Aaron.
I'm reading my notes, and my notes are telling me
changing your own mind.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the Michaels hot body Stetson Sal Balomo thing?
Yes, Michaels and Stetson.
Around.
So I'm thinking
I just wrote this is not happening, and it
happened. You can wish it didn't, but it did.
No, it didn't happen on my TV because I don't know what they did, but I fast forwarded until we got to fucking Abdullah.
Well, see, they broke into the middle of this match.
How ironic is that? How much does that tell you
this
that
thing
was good?
This thing was so bad that they said, "Hey, in the middle of this, let's have an Abdullah the Butcher highlight package."
Well,
don't forget, we've watched entire Suicide Blonde and Super Destroyers matches, and they decided to break into this fucking thing.
That was cool because I laughed because I was just going, there's no chance that Nate and Aaron are going to expect me to watch this tag team match. Like, it's 100% chance that it's not going to happen. And then when they cut into it, I was like, oh shit, I'm doing the Butcher. And I knew where they got the footage from and everything. Thank you, love. And I knew where they got the footage from and everything. And I was like, well, that's cool. But I mean, I was like, so they edited the match that bad? Like they cut out, I don't know. What would you say?
Oh, I bet that
5, 6, 7 minutes?
Yeah, because I was going to say, you know how they are with these tag matches. You know that match was at least 12 to 14 minutes long. And we probably only saw about, 6 minutes of it. So, yeah, they cut at least half to more than half of the match out.
Like
they came back with Sandman and a rear chin lock. And I'm just like, that's the best you could do?
One of the only notes I have is right before they cut out and said, "Oh, this special advertisement, we're gonna go to the Abdullah the Butcher." Is Jay Sully's commentating? He's like, "Oh, a big forearm and a big body slam and Paulie goes, Sully, does everything you have to commentate have to be something?"
Oh, it's
an adjective.
And an adjective like a big forearm and a giant body slam. Why don't you just shut up? Yeah, Sully's out. Like I don't think Paulie was giving that guy. I think Paulie was fucking tired of it.
I wonder if Paulie was really just getting tired of Sully.
He called him out,
telling him, "You're done."
He called him out. He called him out during the Volkov's match too, because one of the headhunters gave, I think, Ivan a belly to belly, and Sully said belly to back suplex, and Paulie's like, okay, so if you see one belly touching another belly, and then there's a suplex, how is that a belly to back suplex,
I heard that.
Sully?
I heard that too.
He's totally shitting on Sully in this.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Because I don't know, but is Paulie just kind of like doesn't matter? You're basically done.
It was kind of funny seeing Paulie. It's kind of fun seeing Sully slowly get fired on TV. It's fun.
Well, I mean, I don't think he gets really fired. I think he's just gone. You turn on ECW and he's not there.
Hasta la bye bye. Yeah.
I think you get Maddie in the house. Good God.
And following up this tag match, who went over? Sal and Sandman? I don't have it written down. Okay.
Sal and Sandman won.
No, I was still enamored with the Abdullah the Butcher video.
Which you told us earlier you have the DVD that footage was taken from.
I have two of them. Yeah,
I knew that it was something. I knew that I didn't know that it was necessarily a DVD, but I knew they had got some Puerto Rican footage. Obviously, you could tell it was Puerto Rican footage, especially with the Chicky Star show there on the
Dude,
TV.
you want to see something hilarious? Is go back and look at it, and look at the spot where he gets the fly, where he catches the fly.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely. It's like they got it out of a box with like the toy poop. The joke poop. Yeah. And he's so satisfied with what he did.
It's the worst.
He's so happy about it, though. This is good stuff, man. Good job, Larry.
If only he would have caught it with his chopsticks, like Mr. Miyagi.
Now I want to ask you a serious question. Are you an Abdullah fan?
Me?
Yeah. I am not. I never have been. I never saw. I didn't see it. I mean, I don't know. I just never an Abby fan. And I'm not even shitting on him.
It's kind of hard to tell. Like, depending on because he works so many territories. Mm-hmm. And works so many places, it's kind of hard to tell whether I was a fan of when he was in one place or the next place or whatever.
Right.
It's what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I am in a sense, if he was in for a long, a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Like
go ahead, Aaron.
If I could say something about like Abby, like I wouldn't necessarily say like I'm a Abdullah the Butcher mark, but I'm a fan of the Abdullah the Butcher character, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't want to see Abdullah the Butcher for like 2 years, but you bring Abdullah the Butcher in somewhere for like 4 months, I'm going to be entertained by it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like I don't want to see the guy around for a long time doing something for an extended period of time. Bring him in for 4 months. Let him feud with somebody and do some crazy shit. Give him a good fucking manager or tag team partner or something, and I'll enjoy it. And then get him the fuck out, because if you see him longer than that, then the shit's getting exposed.
Yeah, it goes with the Backlund MSG thing. You give him 3, and I'm not even sure Abdullah would need 3. If I had the pencil, it would be Abdullah would win by disqualification twice, and then they would have whatever the blow off is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Exit, and then Backlund win, but it'd be some hokey, thing.
But and then you don't see the guy for a fucking year, and then all of a sudden he pops out of a fucking chimney or something. Oh, Abdullah's here again. Like, that would be fucking
Can you
awesome.
imagine if Abdullah the Butcher was on WTBS like every Saturday night, already in the ring?
I don't want to see that, but bring him around every year or so. I'm cool with that. And then 4 months, and then he's gone. Or 4 weeks even. It's like that's my thing with Abby.
It would be.
I think he's an enjoyable character.
It would be more like 3 months.
Yeah.
3 months would be like where he would shelf life himself out of him, out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
But Abby's not stupid. You know what I mean? He knows that he's only there for a reason, and he don't even have to do the job on the way out.
Right.
They could find some way to not make him look weak, to bring him back, in the future. But yeah.
Yeah, his character was like, Abby built a character enough to where he could even like beat himself and it wouldn't even lose anything on it, Mm-hmm. Like, he could wind up DQ'd but still lose. But he got himself DQ'd and then leave the territory and be perfectly fine.
Of course. He can go somewhere else and do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The next segment of the show, we have Todd Gordon in the ring, and out comes Stan Hansen, a whomping and a stomping.
Fucking awesome.
And looking like Stan fucking Hansen. And I love the visual of him in this environment too, because he looks gigantic. Like he just looks so gigantic and menacing in this. And he comes out and talks about how he's going to have the tag match at Ultra Clash, teaming up with Terry Funk against Eddie Gilbert and Abdullah the Butcher. He's about to have a match with Jimmy Snuka for the TV title. Now we get a Snuka promo, and he uses my favorite Jimmy Snuka line. He's going to TCB, brother. Taking care of business. And then these guys actually... Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
I was just saying in the interview, Snuka's wearing his do-rag, and Paulie's wearing like a weird hat. Like it wasn't even like a regular ball cap. It looked weird. But yeah.
And then these two proceed to have a match that I actually liked.
That's right, brother.
Yeah, brother. Taking care of business, brother.
That's
TCB. Right. Don't you forget. I think Snuka was trying to copyright taking care of business at this point.
I don't know who was
like
doing
Elvis has been dead for 11 years, brother. I can do this.
Somebody was doing me a favor during this, because this is when my Wi-Fi went one out. Like, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be Snuka and Hansen. Oh shit. Blah, blah, blah. And then it started pixelating and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And it never caught up. And the next thing I know, I see Stan Hansen, like on the screen where he's throwing his chain around. So if I had to guess how the match was with Snuka, I would guess it wasn't good by Meltzer standards, or or them standards.
Well,
they had it
from a fan aspect, it was good, and they were actually clipping along pretty good. But they went into like the high spots and the match, and when they did it, Hansen hit the ropes, and I don't know if Stan was just off the step or if the actual rope broke.
Oh no!
But Stan goes to hit the rope, and when he goes to hit the rope, it fucking buckles back and hits him in the head, and he winds up down for a second. And you can see he's just like, "What the fuck?" Because you could tell he thought something hit him from behind, and everything I've ever heard, the guy's fucking blind, so he doesn't fucking know. So
my cable fucked up so bad that I didn't even see that. Like I just saw Stan Hansen in the ring, so I didn't know like how many minutes I even missed.
But it looked to me like when they went to go into the fucking meat and potatoes at the end of the match, Stan had that rope, and that top rope broke on him. To me,
Am
I wrong?
No, that's what I have down too. I think Hansen broke the rope.
It wouldn't have been hard because Axel used to do it all the time in that ring anyway. Like if we were running a show and somebody was running late, whatever the name was, I don't know, fucking pick a name. And Axel was like, "Do we need to stall for time?" And they'd be, "Yeah." And Axel would go, "Okay, I'll break the ring." And he would run and hit the corner because they would break the fucking U joint that's in the center of the ring that holds all four corner posts together. So he'd break it. So it would take a half an hour,
Yeah. Hey, that's fucking slick, by the way. That's a slick maneuver. I like that. I'll just go break the ring. You need some time? I'll go break the ring.
Axel is not a fucking dum-dum. I can call Axel a lot of things, but he was not a dum-dum.
I know, Chad, you didn't see the match. Aaron, my thoughts on the match, just to see if you saw what I saw. The one other thing that I noted, not only did I enjoy the match, I mean, honestly, mainly probably because I enjoy Stan Hansen, but also because of who he was in the ring with. This was the first time in ECW that I've watched Jimmy Snuka work. You know, like you could tell that he was. You're giving me the, but I mean, this is the most effort. This is the most effort I've seen from Snuka.
Well, I mean, if you don't give Stan Hansen some effort, he's gonna get it out of you.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. I mean, Aaron, you're right. I mean, do you want me to fucking tell you he's working Stan Hansen? Do you think he's going to go in there and say, "Hey, we can just punch kick
TCB, brother"?
Let's be light tonight, brother.
Stan Hansen, ain't you heard about TCB, brother?
Yeah.
and the worst part was Snuka probably didn't even want to do it. Like he probably wanted the TCB, brother. But Stan Hansen was just like, no. This is not what I'm getting paid to do.
4 times, I counted at least 4 times in this match where Jay Sully, our wonderful play-by-play guy, said that Stan Hansen was from Border, Texas. Not Borger. Border, Texas. All right, Sully. Time to pack your bags, buddy.
Well, we ain't got to worry about Sully much longer. And I'm pretty sure that Sully's fucking knocking on fucking heaven's door.
And I think that the match was always supposed to be a DQ, but I really do think that when Stan hit the ropes and it broke, if you look at it, it's them like calling an audible, and then Eddie getting involved is not what they intended the ending to be. And it was say what you want to say about Snooker or whatever, but it was 3 professionals out there knowing what the fuck they were doing, and that's why it looked a little wonky at the end. But I thought this was a good match.
Yeah. I believe you. I think you're onto something, because the worst case scenario was we don't know what the exact finish was going to be, because it was probably going to be a DQ finish anyway, right?
Yeah.
But to include the referee spot, and all the other stuff, it just made it that much more wonky. So it didn't matter who won. So yeah, you're right. It didn't matter. There was not going to be a guy who won or lost the match to begin with.
Right. Yeah. The after the match, Stan Hansen gives Freddie Gilbert a spanking.
Yeah,
that happened.
That's what it is. They try to do a Jimmy Hart type situation, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now I want to say before
I knew an extra beer.
I want to say before we wrap it up, I have some things that I want to say about the credits of this show.
Oh, I have that.
Okay, I think Stevie Wonderful is finally gone.
Oh, Stevie Wonderful's gone. He's not in the credits anymore. There's the new sound guy.
And his name is John Doe. I believe it was.
Well, who do you think that is?
Dough.
Who do you think that is?
I don't know who the music guy was after Stevie Wonderful. I think it was just, Paulie plagiarizing music after that, wasn't it?
It was probably Paul.
And after, it was Paul's CDs that he had in his car. After...
No.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
It was whatever CDs he had in the Windstar.
Oh, sorry. The Windstar. Yes, I forgot about the minivan. I had tried to block it out of my memory.
The overhead, DVD.
Yeah, the little visor thing. Yeah. I've got some Rob Zombie here, gentlemen. And then another funny thing. Did you notice what they said about Sully's wardrobe in the credits?
Yeah, but there's a lot of lists. There's more. It's like Jay Sully. It's like play by play. Sir Jay Sully, visibly upset, and then they say Mr. Sully's vocabulary provided by years of watching wrestling on TV.
That's what I had written down.
Well, is this where Eddie started thinking that people were actually watching the credits? Because I started seeing other names and other other funny things, but I didn't see anything like this on there. What you guys just said. But is that what you think Eddie was doing? Just to like have fun, just to goof?
Definitely ribbon, yeah. I mean, it's some funny shit. Like,
there's the legend Larry Gillen. Who's Larry Gillen? Why is he a legend?
Larry Gillum. Don't fuck up Larry Gillum's name. He's Larry Gillum, and he is a legend.
Who is he?
He's Larry Gillum.
Aaron, don't you shit on the good goddamn name of Larry Gillum.
I can't believe Aaron don't know who Larry Gillum is.
Okay. Well, on this thing, it said he's the legend, but he's on vacation in California.
That's right. That's why he's a legend. He can afford the vacation in California. Can you?
No. So good for him.
Then don't talk bad about Larry Gillum or John Gillum.
I'll do 3 Hail Marys and a fucking whatever. An apology to this legend.
So this wraps up this edition of the show. And you know what? I guess I talked myself out of what I said earlier about this show being better than previous as we talked through our notes. But I think the thing that excited me the most watching the show probably was the Hanson thing. Like that segment, I really enjoyed that segment and that match. So maybe that's what put it over the top for me. I don't know that, and you feel the feeling that you're feeling the change. You know what I mean? You're feeling like we're coming out of the afterbirth of Cabrini, and
see, that's what I was trying to say about this show. Is I know I knocked some of the stuff on it or whatever, but it clipped along well. It didn't drag on. It didn't show me a bunch of shit that I already seen, and it seemed more progressive than anything else that they've shown before. Like okay, we got the headhunters. I know they're fat pieces of trash, but at least there's something different. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, and Stan Hansen showed up, and it was like the earlier version of like when ECW the lights would go out and somebody'd show up, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know this guy was gonna be here. Like that crowd didn't know Stan Hansen was gonna be there, and then he just fucking shows up. You know, it was cool shit. I enjoyed this show more than I enjoyed anything they did in Cabrini.
Of course.
They're starting to find a groove.
More Hot Body and Stetson. Good God.
Rockin' Rebel was noticeable in his absence in this show, and he's kind of been like the whole feud with Sandman and everything is off. Is he gone now, Chad? Like this was he still there when you started?
No, I don't think you're gonna see Rockin' Rebel gone until the tapings with me, Benoit, and Sabu.
Okay.
I think that's 94. That I'm not saying that they still used his license.
Mm-hmm.
The time. But I mean, after it was me, me, Sabu, me, Benoit, me, Rebel, and then after that, it was the Thanks for Coming.
Okay. He's definitely been scooted down the card at this point, though, in ECW. Because, like I said, I mean, they've put for Ultra Clash, they put Sandman in a match with Shane Douglas. So they've essentially just scrapped out that whole Rockin' Rebel Sandman Blinding Peaches angle. I mean, it's completely ignored at this point. But Peaches has the strongest eyes in the world, apparently. She really recovers fast.
Of course she does.
So overall,
she sees the Sandman every day.
So overall, Chad, what was your overall score of this show?
I'm actually going to give it an actual rating today.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know the last few weeks I've gave it not a rating. Just I'm not going to rate it. I would say a D, maybe a D minus. It was a step in the right direction because it made me smile when I saw the Headhunters. And I saw a couple other things. I was like, oh my God, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I remember being there, you know. But yeah, it was still not a great show. Don't even try to tell me that was a great show.
No. And like I said, I think that it was one of those things where, like I said, I think that I was more watching the show with rose-colored glasses in that I'm looking at things starting to change and looking at it's starting to open up to be
you see it.
The product that it's going to be. And I gave the show out of 5. I gave it 3. You know, it was better than what I have seen, especially in, the last few weeks. Yeah. Aaron?
I gave it the average math grade I got all through school. I gave it a D+.
Okay. So I think it's fair. I think that's a fair assessment of the show. Where next week we will be watching the show from August 24th, 1993. And just to give you all a preview in the WWE Network preview of the show, Tito Santana challenges the Magnificent Morocco for the ECW Championship in the main event. Plus, Shane Douglas aligns himself with a dangerous group of men, Oogie Boogie Boogie, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, and the Dark Patriot compete against Tommy Cairo and JT Smith in the
Shane
ECW
Douglas
Tag Championship.
Himself with an angry group of men.
With a dangerous, group of men.
Even worse. I feel like I should come to Shane Douglas's aid. What?
All right, everyone. That puts a pin in the latest edition of Reliving the Extreme. Chad, any parting words for our listeners this week?
No, I thought today's show was a great look into what's up and coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as bad as the Headhunters are or were, like they were something different.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Hot Body Stetson. And,
right.
and you're going to start to see other people come in, and that's going to be great. And I can't wait to talk about all these other shows that we're going to see in the upcoming weeks.
It's going to be a blast. Aaron?
I just think that even though this wasn't the greatest show in the world, it has it's foreshadowing that at least ECW is attempting to do something different than just being like, the like prototypical Northwestern or Northeastern indie, and they're like, we're moving into Ultra Clash, and when you get to Ultra Clash, you're gonna see different shit coming in there, and they're like, if you watch the crowd on this show, it's like, oh, the Headhunters are here, Stan Hansen's here. If you watch the crowd, like, the crowd was more into this show than they had been into any other fucking show, and I think that's I think you're seeing this show showed the early fingerprints of Paul Heyman on it, and I think it's going to advance.
Good
and I
point.
think everybody's going to enjoy it.
Exactly. Good point, Aaron. I agree 100%. I forgot to even mention how the crowd was like so involved in the show and how they were about it. And you're right. They now you're starting to see the beginning of ECW. ECW. You know what it is.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, we want to thank you for joining us once again this week on Reliving the Extreme. We will do it all again next week. Chad, Aaron, thank you for joining me. As always, we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great week.